Hi everyone and welcome to the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name is Steve Reeves and I'll be the host. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about some new online software programs. We're going to take a look at CompuServe WOW. We're going to take a look at the brand new Prodigy interface. And we're going to answer some more questions and take a look at the brand new America Online. We showed it about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but there were a few people that had some questions, so I'm going to take a look at that, plus some new fun websites and all kinds of other things. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. In case you just tuned in, this is the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name is Steve Reeves and I'm the host. And we're going to take a look at some new online programs. We're going to take a look, like I said in the beginning, take a look at CompuServe WOW, which is pretty cool. The new Prodigy interface, which is just came out with faster modem speeds and things like that. And we're going to take another look at America Online, the 3.0 version, which just came out, well, about a month ago. And we took a look at it a couple weeks ago, but there were a lot of people that had a lot of different questions about things, and we didn't go over everything because we were just kind of reviewing the brand new software that had just come out. So first thing I want to do, we do this every week, but I just want to make sure everybody understands, show how you can get a hold of us and our email addresses and things like that. We have a hotline. Our phone number for the hotline is 587-6949. 587-6949, and you can leave messages on what you'd like to see in future shows, comments about shows, questions. We try to answer as many questions as we can. A lot of them just have to do with when the show's on and want to know if they can get videotapes and things like that. And then our web page, we have a couple of different web pages. The top one is my personal web page, where I have all kinds of different things, not just about the show, but about me and different wacky things. Yeah, like everyone else, there's a lot of wacky web pages out there. But I do have a section on ACE, and it tells what shows are coming up, the schedules on all the websites that I talk about during the different shows I do, and so you can have links to those, or you can copy them down in case you miss something that's on the show. And then the bottom one is the official ACE web page, which hopefully you can read all those. The bottom one is www.phoenix.net / that's a little tilde or squiggle, that's a technical term, squiggle, ACE / acetop.html. As you can see, the one that's right above it, that's mine, it's steve.htm, not HTML. A lot of people try HTML and they can't get it and they can't figure out why it doesn't connect. It's steve.htm, all right? And while I'm at it, I might as well say it. I say it every show, but a lot of people, it might be the first time they've ever seen the show or whatever. We're on a number of times during the week. We're on every Sunday. Usually the first time first time the show has been shown is on Sundays, and it's always Sundays at 4 o'clock. We're on Wednesdays, that's 4 o'clock p.m. on Sundays. Then we're again on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. We're on Thursdays at 1 o'clock in the morning. Again, I have no idea who watches that, except really late people. I mean, people that watch TV real late at night, 1 o'clock in the morning. And then again on Saturday nights at 8 p.m. And of course, we're on Channel 19 on Warner. I know that. I'm not sure about the other channels, but so we're on it Sundays at 9. Sundays at 9, is that right? And then, no, I'm sorry. Sundays at 4 p.m. Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Thursdays, I had a slide, I don't know what happened to my slide. Thursdays at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then Saturdays at 8 p.m. All right? Even I'm confused. All right? We'll go to the next slide. First thing we're going to talk about is WOW. This is it's actually been out for a while, but not a lot of people, for some reason, a lot of people haven't been using it. I don't know if it's just because it's something new or what, or the interface or whatever it is, but you can go in there if you have connection to the internet now and you want to try it out or find out information. The web page to WOW is www.wow.org. wow.com. I put it there so you can see what it is, and you can fill out an application. They'll send you the CD-ROM or whatever. They'll tell you all the information. It tells you the prices and everything else you'd ever want to know about WoW without actually getting on. And then if you want to actually get and start WoW, what I've done is I have the, let's get out of this real fast, and let's go down to the bottom here, and we're actually connected right now. Wow. What you get if you send away for the software, you actually get a package that looks like this. I'm going to try to keep the camera guy on his toes. Wow, it's here. Great, huh? Now, there are some stipulations or some requirements for this software. Actually, there's a number of them. And that might be why some people didn't get on it immediately, but more and more as people get better and better and faster computers, it's a lot easier to use this. Now, what this actually is made by the people from CompuServe, and it's got a really cool interface, which we'll take a look at. But it's made a lot, I would say, primarily for families, because it's got things like parental control page where you can go in there and set up everything so your kids can tell what your kids can get to and not get to, any kind of adult web pages or anything like that, or X-rated. And you can also set up everything so that everything is real nice and neat, so you don't have to worry about being browsing or anything like that. Now, some people like that, some people don't. If you want to make it nice and neat and everything the same way all the time so you remember where everything is, WoW's pretty cool. Now, like I said, part of the requirements are, well, one right off the bat, it requires a minimum of a 46. Minimum 46. Now, this is a 4640 that I'm running on right now, so we know it works on here. It has to have Windows 95. Windows 95 only. It will not run with Windows 3.1 or Windows 3.11 or Windows for Workgroups. It requires Windows 95. I don't know about NT, but Windows 95, it says right here. CD-ROM drive, because it only comes on CD. It doesn't come on disks. It requires a modem of 9600 baud or faster, which for most people that's not too bad. All computers nowadays come with a 14.4 or a 28.8 modem, but if you have like a 2400 baud or even a 9600, it would probably be pretty slow. But it requires a fast modem, mostly because of the graphics. It would take forever if you had a slower modem than 9600. The other thing is it requires a sound card. Now it actually runs without a sound card because I don't have a sound card on this, but it helps on the installation. It actually has sounds for everything, all the clicks and what you're doing, and it'll talk to you and tell you if you're doing things, like as you're installing. It really comes in handy because actually a little videotape or a little AVI file or MPEG, I'm not sure what it actually was, but a lady comes up and tells you, what you're getting into and why WoW is great and everything about installing the software. And it actually goes in there and explains everything. And as you go through the install, it has little WAV files that actually explain everything as you're going along. Like, you sure you want to do this? Yes or no. Do you have a touch-tone phone? It'll actually say that. So, if you don't have a sound card, it's not as cool on the install. But it also, like a lot of times while you're in the program, it takes for granted you have a sound card. You may not realize that it's saying something, and you don't hear it because you don't have a sound card if you don't have one. So I guess that makes sense. I said that like 3 times there. The other thing is it requires minimum 8 megabytes of RAM, 16 megabytes recommended. And that, again, most of that's because of speed and because of the graphics. And when you sign up for this in the beginning, you get the first month for free. First 30 days is free. And then it's $17.95 per month for unlimited use. Now, because and that's as long as you're signed up by August 31st, 1996. And then after that, like it says, it's $17.95 per month for everything. That's internet access, this WoW interface, which is sort of like a really fancy, wild CompuServe. And also it has 20, which is the one great thing that they have. As a matter of fact, I did it last night because I had a question. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, toll-free questions, technical support. Like, for example, one problem that I had, and we'll just kind of go into the software here. As we go into here, you can see that this menu comes up. Well, when I was doing the installing yesterday, one of the problems I had was I had it installed on one computer. And it asks you 8,000 questions about your phone number, your area code. It calls in, calls you back, sets everything up. Everything is automatic. The problem is if you want to set it up on another computer, you have to go through the whole install again. They said there won't be another version out for about, they said within 30 days. I don't know what that means in software time frame. But that you can actually, like for example, CompuServe, America Online, and any of those, once you set it up, you just do the setup, and then you can go in there and then reset it up and put all your own user ID and phone number and everything in there. With this, you can't do that. You have to go through the entire install again in order to install the software on a second computer. And there's one problem that I see so far, but he told me how to get around it, and I'll tell you how to do it. If you do that, of course it asks for a credit card, because it thinks after the 30 days you want to, in case you want to sign on. Well, right now, as of today, I have 2 accounts on WOW, because I had to install it twice. But he said what I can do after the show, if I want to disable it, I just call him up anytime within the first 30 days and just disable or terminate that other contract that's on the second computer if I want to do that. If not, I'm going to get billed twice. So I've got to remember to call. So everybody call and remind me in about 29 days, or send me an email to undo this in case I forget. But that's one problem right there, because a lot of people have, well, because there's a lot of people, a lot of nerds out there like me, that have multiple computers, and you may want to have multiple versions of WOW on the different computers. So if you're using one for something else, you have multiple phone lines or whatever, some reason, you know, you might not always want it on your only one computer. For example, you might have a notebook like this, and you take all over the place, and you have a desktop. Well, for sure you'd want to have 2 copies of it. It's kind of strange that you can't do that, but apparently they are working on a version that you can go and put it on multiple PCs without having to set up 2 different accounts. So right now I have 2 different accounts, 2 user IDs, 2 passwords, 2 email addresses, everything for WOW, which is kind of wacky. Yet the other thing that's kind of cool about this is that you can have, I didn't show how you log in. It's pretty straightforward. You just click on the icon. I can show it if anybody wants to see it on like at one of the breaks or something. But it actually comes up, and you can have multiple names on the same account, which is also pretty neat. So if you have the husband, the wife, and all 3 kids, for example, and the dog, they can all have separate accounts, separate names on the same account. So you don't have to have separate accounts for everyone in your family, which was sort of a problem for some of the other online services. So when it comes up, it'll have a list of all the names that are attached to this account. You just click on that, it goes in, and it knows that you can read your own mail or whatever you want to do. So it's pretty cool. So let's go back to the screen here. That's my little blurb about WOW. But it is $17.95 a month, unlimited service. You can see when it comes up, this is the main menu, the home menu. It tells you the date and time, so you can see when we're filming this right now. It tells you what's new, my mail, and it does have bubble help. You can't really read that, but if you go what's new, it says what's new in WOW. Go to my mail, it says new mail you've received. My news is personalized news folder. And, oh great, that's cool. We're going to have to reconnect. And also, because we've been kind of just sitting here I talk too much in case you didn't notice that. My places are bookmarks to your favorite places, and main menu. That's the WOW centers and communities. So this is actually the perfect time to reconnect. And while we're doing this, I can actually show you all these different things. You can go into storage. You can actually save your messages and files, which is kind of cool. There's some other services that you can't save it. Once you read it, you either have to print it out or save it to disk, or you have to delete it, and then it's gone. This you can actually save some of your emails. Settings is where you set up all your modems, your speeds, and everything else. I've got this hooked up to a 28.8, a Hayes 28.8 modem, and I found that it seems to connect around 19.2. It's not always 28.8. Just like most services, you can't always connect at the full speed. It depends on the modem, the phone line, and all kinds of different things. Help, it's got a real good online help screens that tell you, actually, it's sort of, it actually is where you are. It's not one, it can be one big gigantic help screen, but what it does is it actually tells you help according to where you are. So if you're in the setup, it tells you help about setup. It doesn't make you look through 8,000 different things to find where you are. And then quit. And that's where you disconnect from WoW or completely exit. Let's see if we can connect here. Let's see if we're still connected. Oh, it still says hung up. But according to this, we're still connected. So let's see if we can do this. What's new? If you click on these things, it says we got too many things open. Let's go back here real fast. And let's go to PowerPoint. I'm going to disconnect here. I mean, just turn off PowerPoint. I got 20,000 things opened up here. And we'll go to what's new. The other thing that you can do, which is really cool, if you go to let's go to My News in the beginning, in the middle here. And what this does, actually I do have to connect. I'm sorry. So I'll keep talking here. What this does is when you set up My News, you can actually enter anything you want. Like, for example, we could enter Olympics, because right now, while we're taping the show, we're still connected. I mean, the Olympics are still going on. You can put on the topics that you want, and it'll automatically go in there and look up anything that it can find on those topics, on like the Olympics, on sports, or whatever you want. You could put in there the Astros, and it would find any news having to do with the Astros, anything to do with NFL, anything to do with whatever, any kind of sport, Olympics or whatever, or any kind of news. If you had some sort of news, you wanted to look up any kind of weather or anything else. All right? So we'll see what happens when this comes up here. And also the same thing with mail. It'll actually tell you what mail you have. You can read your mail and move it around or save it or whatever you want to do. And also My Places. So here it is when you go. Gather news stories related to the following topics. So there's 6 different topics. And the same thing, if we go in here to help, it'll do that. So if we go over here, let's just put in Olympics, for example. Olympics, and we hit OK, it'll go in there and find any information about the Olympics. Same sort of thing with My Places. I'm going to try to do 2 or 3 things here at the same time while that's loading. My Places has the same identical sort of interface. You can go in there and set up places that you always go to. If you always go to sports, for example, you can set it so it'll always go to sports when it starts up. You can set it up to go to check out the weather at certain places, or go to some computer-related section, or whatever you might want to do. This is kind of, I don't know what's going on here. It's kind of slow. It's still going. The modem's still going. And also you can find out how long you've been connected. Under Main Menu is where it actually goes into the menu for, maybe there's nothing in here on Olympics. I know there was. I just looked yesterday just to make sure. Let's just stop this, but let's keep talking here. When you go under Main Menu, oh, there it is, right there. This, when you go to My News, you can see there's all kinds of buttons around the screen. There's News Center, and where you can go directly to the News Center and find out. It has topics on just about everything. We can go back to the Main Menu, go down to Settings. That's actually the same thing as before, where you can go in there and set up all the speeds of the modems, the screen, everything else. Home, you can go back to the Main Menu, go to Mail, go to Help. You can also bookmark, just like you can in the internet. If you want to go to the same places over and over, this can become a place under My Place, that little icon that was My Place. So you hit bookmark and it'll save that, so if you always go to My News or whatever, and then quit. All right? And it's a little slow. I think we're going to take a quick break here real fast, and we'll come back and we'll continue looking at this, and we'll get some other things to look at on CompuServe WoW. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. In case you just tuned in, this is the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name is Steve Reeves, and I'm the host, and right now we're talking about WoW, CompuServe WoW. We had a little connection problem there, because while I was talking too much, we got disconnected and everything else. You know, that's how, it's the 90s, you know. When you're online, you got to be prepared to be disconnected. I talk too much, in case you didn't already know that. Anyway, when we're talking about WoW, and this is it's relatively new. It's been out a little while, and there's all kinds of different menus and things you can go to. and it's like $17.95 a month, and it comes with a 30-day trial when you first get it, and you can use it for 30 days, unlimited, like 24 hours a day if you want, I guess. And as it says, compared to only 10 hours for most online services. I don't know what they're talking about there. America Online, CompuServe, and everything else. But it is pretty cool. Like I said, one of the biggest things that I found that is pretty cool is 24 hours, 7 days a week, toll-free technical support. That's hard to find for most anything, not only computers, but anything in the world. But it's pretty cool. The main problem that I see with this software today for normal people that have 28.8 modems or 14.4 modems is it's a little slow. And that's just because it is 100% graphics. And it seems to load real kind of slow. So, same thing, I forgot to say this also. When I talked to the guy the other night, actually it was yesterday, last night, about how to hook up multiple PCs with the software, he said when the new version comes out, it should be faster. Because I don't think many people would put up with the slow regeneration if they had a really slow modem. I have a 28.8 and it's sort of slow. If you had a 14.4 or slower, it'd be just slower than beans. That's what I always say. Slower than a snail. But anyway, that's the only thing I really think it needs a little improvement is the speed. All right. Here's the main menu, and there's different things that are on the screen right here. I don't know if you can read this or not. This one right here is chat with other members, just like all the other ones where you can go in there and it has different groups on anything in the world you'd ever want to talk to different people about, you know, cars or computers or baseball cards or whatever you want. Reference, there's all kinds of things for encyclopedias and dictionaries and words and all kinds of different things. You can look up different things for school projects and whatever. Messages is where you can go in there and read and post messages to other people that are on here. News, we kind of went through there, but you can see there's where you can check the news and the weather. The internet, you can actually connect to their own internet, the CompuServe internet provider, and do exactly what you can do on the regular internet browser. Shopping, where you can go out there, an online shopping mall where you can go in and buy all kinds, everything from soup to nuts, you know. Entertainment, there's different, it's called entertainment communities is what they're called. Living, sports, money, and then member service. If we go in here, let's just go to entertainment, for example. You can also see along the top, same thing, they always have the same basic buttons along the top. Home, mail, help, bookmark, quit. No matter where you are, you can find your way around. It seems to be a little faster now. This is entertainment. You can go back to the main menu where we were, or go back to wherever, if we didn't happen to be in the main menu before this, you can go back. Just go back one screen at a time, or main menu goes back to the original main menu. There's movies, television, music, humor, books, travel, electronic games, where you can actually play not only games that are on here, but with other people across, wow, pretty cool, huh? Games and puzzles, same thing. Celebrities and the arts. If we go in there and do, I don't know, let's look at TV. Since we're on TV, we'll look at TV. And again, you'll see that every one of these things has the same sort of button. So it's real easy to find your way around. See, it still has home, mail, help, bookmark, and quit along the top. And then there's other things around television. There's chat, there's reference, messages, or messaging, I guess it is. It says, again, there's little bubble help. And this is message board for this subject, which happens to be TV. News, it's news articles about television. Connect to the internet, which that would be internet places that are related to TV. Shopping, and then chat. Let's just pick something here. Let's pick news, for example. Or also in the middle here is what's new. Uh-oh, there's a problem there. We have too many things loaded again. But we'll go in here, and you can see that there's also entertainment communities, and go back to the beginning. Now this is, again, I'm just kind of touching the surface here. I just wanted to show people what WOW looks like and how it works, and some of the costs and whatever, because we've had a lot of people ask questions on the hotline and also send me emails that says, show me WOW. I want to see what the difference is between that and America Online and CompuServe and Prodigy, and what the difference is between the internet. Well, I mean, just having a browser like Netscape and connecting directly to the internet. One thing that I didn't show you, but There's a whole section for the parental control where you can go in there and shut things off and turn things on so you can get to certain sections. The interface, a lot of kids seem to like this interface. It's easy to read and easy to get around and things like that. The other thing is it's just pleasing to the eye, I guess, more than anything else. But it's real similar to all the other online services. As a matter of fact, I really can't figure out the difference between this and CompuServe with their internet connection. There's sort of a gray area there. I'm not sure if one day it'll be connected and you'll have CompuServe WOW and that'll be all there is, or WOW CompuServe, or however you want to do it. But they're real similar, it's just a different interface. But I think what we'll do here is I'm just going to quit and get out of this, and we'll start talking about, I've got a bunch of things I want to talk about. We've got all kinds of different websites, fun websites that I have here, and what we're going to do is let's start up, we'll have to disconnect here, but we'll go back to PowerPoint, and we'll start up my little presentation here that I always show, and we've got all kinds of different websites and magazines and different things like that. I've got a video of the week. I've got we still have to show a little bit of Prodigy and America Online. I've got some tips of the week and all types of different things. So let's go in here and do, let's cancel and go to File and go to WOW. That's what I decided to name this presentation we're showing here. This, by the way, I use this for a lot of different things, but this is PowerPoint for Office 95. So we'll go over here and do Prodigy. We'll just go down a little bit here. We'll go back to those when we do it. We'll go to this, and we'll go to the web page of the week. And let's go to the presentation, to the viewer, slide viewer, whatever you want to call it, a little slideshow presentation. Now what I've done is I've put together, or went out in the last couple of weeks and just found some fun websites that I've looked at recently. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago on one of the shows, but probably people have noticed this during the Olympics. I don't know if anyone else has, but I have, about how many, almost every single thing, every commercial you see on TV now has a website. No matter what you see, even like Gatorade, www.gatorade.com, everything has a website. So sometimes it's sort of a, because I'm goofy, sometimes I have a little sheet of paper next to my chair when I watch TV, and I just write down all the web pages just during one show to see how many different things there are. I need to get a life, Anyway, this is one that I found the other day, and it's a cool tool of the day. And this has all kinds of different things on here. Every day there's a different software package. Some's freeware, some shareware, some just evaluation software or whatever. But it's some cool tool. I guess that's why they call it Cool Tool of the Day. But that's the internet address right there. It's www.cooltool.com. And every day they switch it. So you can go in there, and I forget what it was today, but I think it was some sort of something to do with news groups or something, some sort of software that keeps track of news groups. But every day you need to check it, and you can go in there and find a new cool tool of the day. It's also a tongue twister. And again, all these sites will be on my web page, so if you can't write this down, or you don't have a piece of paper like me next to my chair where I can write everything down, you can get on my web page and actually go directly or write them down either way. The next one is one that's relatively new, and I read something in the paper the other day about, or actually I think it was like People magazine, because everything in People is correct and right, you got to keep up with what's going on. This is that brand new one for Microsoft and NBC, the web page, their website. It's www.msnbc. It's some sort of conglomeration of Microsoft and NBC. And this has all kinds of different things on. There's news and sports and technical stuff on there. There's everything. It's pretty cool. You need to get on it and check it out. And but you can go on there, and there's all kinds of different clips, and it's pretty good. I like it a lot. I check it out all the time. And so that's what it is, www.ms for Microsoft, NBC for NBC.com. All right? Third one, this is actually a pretty cool one, the Y files. I think they did it kind of like the X files, but it's called the Y files. And it's science behind the news. Now this is not only for, people like me, adults or big nerds. It's also for kids. It's great for all kinds of different projects and things, science projects. You can go in here and there's all types of things. I think what I'll do is I'll connect to the internet a little bit and actually show you some of these. But they're all kinds of things having to do with science. Things that are going on like space, things having to do with space, things having to do with animals, all types of different things. But there is no www in front of this web in front of this address. It's just http://yfiles.news.wisc for Wisconsin.edu for education. So this is obviously coming from some connection to probably University of Wisconsin, go Badgers. Aren't they the Badgers? I think they are. The reason I know they're the Badgers because there's a guy at work that has this desktop theme for University of Wisconsin, and every time he deletes something, it starts playing the Wisconsin fight song or something like that. Anyway, this actually is pretty cool, and you can see it's funded by the National Science Foundation. I don't know if you can read that, but that does say that. Now this is a pretty cool site, so check this one out. The next one is it's actually a pretty funny site. What it's called is CRAN, Create Your Own Newspaper. And you can see how they took it. It's C-R-A for create. I don't know where they got all that. Your, there's the Y, own newspaper. And you can make up your own newspaper. It's really not a newspaper. It's almost like your own little web page, or what I use it for is it's my startup web page for Netscape. So when I start up Netscape, it automatically comes up to this page, my CRAN page or my newspaper page, which I can name whatever I want. You can name it, Steve's Newspaper or Steve. Actually, it gives you a choice of everything. We'll go into that and I'll show you how it works. It's pretty cool. You can go in there and I called mine, I think it was the Nerd Chronicle. You can name it whatever you want. The Steve's Gazette or Steve Times or Computer Times or whatever you want. You go in there and you pick all types of different things. It's broken into different sections like technology, stocks, sports, weather, all these different things. And what it does is it comes up, and you can have it come up in little sections if you want, just like the really cool like Netscape pages and things, where you can, on the side, you can have the windows and different windows, and you can scroll up and down and hit over the top of the different address, and it comes up on the right-hand side. It's really cool because you can change it around, but it's like your own personal little page that has all the information that you always look up. So if you always connect to PC Week, for example, and check out what's going on with computers, or you always check out the Wall Street Journal, or you always want to know the cool tip of the day, or you look at Dilbert, like me. You look at Dilbert every day to check out the Dilbert comic. You can have this all set up so every day there's a list of everything you like to check out, and boom, it comes up. Now this is the bottom one here is my newspaper. I guess it is CRAN newspaper. http://cran.net/read.cgi?reeves@aol.com. Now if you did that, you would actually get my newspaper, and you could see how mine is set up. But if you go to this http://cran.net, you can set up your own, and it's pretty cool. So we'll do that. And when we come back from the break, I think I'll probably go into Netscape and show you some of those things. The next one is sort of I try to have full spectrum of different kinds of cool websites or fun websites. This one is more for network people or people that are want to check out Unix type people or whatever. Now this is actually a great site. It's called NWPS website, the Northwest Performance Software site. And you can see the address is http://www.eskimo.com/tilde or squiggle as we say, NWPS. One of the tools that I use all the time that's on this website you can download, and again, they have shareware, freeware, all types of different things, but the one I downloaded was shareware, so you can use it for a while and then pay for it if you want to continue using it. It's called NetScan Tools. It's mostly made for people that are used to Unix that are now on Windows. There's all kinds of things like, for example, you can ping a different site to find out if you're connected to it, FTP, finger, all types of different things having to do that are utilities on Unix computers that when you went to Windows, they weren't there anymore, unless you happen to have some sort of utility like this, NetScan Tools, and this version 2.40. This is probably the most useful software package I've downloaded or found in a long time, because I use that all the time. I'm always trying to figure out if I'm connected to a certain Unix box or a certain server or something like that, and you can ping it to find out if you're connected or find out what the address is, the IP address at a certain site or a certain server or whatever. Find out what sort of if the NDS, anything you want to know about another PC or your PC. For example, if you didn't know your IP address or whatever and you didn't know how to find it for some reason, I don't know why. If you didn't know how to find it, you probably wouldn't need to know what it was. But this will tell you what your IP address is on your PC. All right? And well, let's go to the magazines of the week. I brought two magazines. One is a magazine that I've been getting for forever. Actually, since I think it first came out, I'm not real sure, but one year I went to Comdex about, I forget what year it was, 2 or 3 years ago, and I think when this first came out. It's called Wired. It's pretty far out left field in some cases, but it's pretty cool because it's up to date and it's got also some real interesting articles about PCs and things you normally don't think about. This is the new version, August '96, Wired, and it's got all kinds of great articles, all kinds of different websites, and this is one of those magazines also that just about every single ad in here has a website. All right, and the other one I brought was, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but the Access and Visual Basic Advisor. And there's these for just about all kinds. There's a database advisor, there's one for C++, there's one for all types of different software, Word, WordPerfect, whatever. And it has all kinds of tips and tricks and faster ways of doing things and shortcuts and all kinds of, these are great magazines. Anyways, they're telling me I need to take a break. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. In case you just tuned in, this is the American Computer Enthusiast Show. My name is Steve Reeves, and we're talking about online services, actually new online services. We're talking about things actually we've never shown before. We've talked about in the beginning of the show CompuServe WoW, which is it's actually from CompuServe. That's why they call it CompuServe WoW. I went goofy there for a minute. We're going to talk a little bit about Prodigy, the new version of Prodigy, the new interface from Prodigy 1.5. And we're going to try to show America Online. We've got too many things to show today. I talk too much. And we're going to talk about, I've got some other things to show here. First thing, one of the major complaints that people have always had about Prodigy, by the way, this is my favorite picture of Prodigy. Actually, this is why I would use it, just because of this. But it comes on you can order it on CD or disc. I ordered this CD version, and it came in this little package, and it talks about, it says you can stop holding your breath now. Your Prodigy software has arrived. That's what that guy's doing right there. All right? Now, one of the biggest things they did to this, besides a little bit different, the interface is pretty close, but the biggest thing they changed is the speeds. It now goes faster than 14.4. It used to, in the older version, even if you had a 28.8 modem, it didn't even show up on the screen. There wasn't even a choice of anything faster than 14.4. There was no access lines from Houston, for example, faster than 14.4. And they kept promising 28.8's coming, 28.8's coming. Well, it finally came out in this version 1.5. And what it does is it makes a huge difference in loading things up and speed and everything else. In some cases, I don't notice a huge difference, but in a lot of the graphics seem to load faster, which is one of the reasons why 14.4 was so slow, because it was so graphics intensive on some of these screens. But you can see the screen itself looks pretty darn close to the way it did before. You know, it's got the pull-down menus along the top, and you can go in there and go directly to whatever you want to go to: news, weather, sports, computers, shopping. There's sounds. You can turn on and off the sounds if you have a soundboard. You can search for things. You can page up and down. You can go directly to a specific site, like jump to computers or whatever. You can go to A to Z index and look something up. You can cut and paste. Actually do a snapshot of a screen or whatever you want, so you can look at it later, or put it in some sort of a package, like if you wanted to download a page and actually put it in a Word, for example. Also clipboard viewer. There's also over here things like highlights, interest groups, and we showed some of these things on the show before, but I just wanted to show you the difference. And again, the main difference is speed. And then they have the icons along the side of what's new and what's hot today. And then there's along the bottom down here, I don't know if you can read that, but it's mail. There's a little mail. It means I have mail, and I probably need to read it. But page forward, page back, menu, what's hot. There's web. You can go directly to the internet, mail, chat, bulletin boards, net, and also help. And over here is also a little mail, so you can tell that I do have mail over here. All right. Let's just get out of it. Well, let's do something here real fast. Let's go to menu, and we'll just hit menu. Now, Prodigy will work. I'll just tell you the difference between this, for example, and WoW. That's great. I went right back to where I was. I meant to hit hot. The difference, the main difference between this, for example, and WoW is this does work on Windows 3.1 and Windows for Workgroups. You don't have to have Windows 95, but it does work on either or. It doesn't need with this you need a CD-ROM because it's a CD. It reminds me of a story about somebody that tried to stick the CD-ROM in the 5 1/4-inch disk drive. And it also requires a 386 processor or higher rather than a 486, but it would be pretty slow on a 386. It also just needs 4 megs of RAM, but it recommends more if possible. And it says for sound effects, a sound card, of course, must be the MPC standard, the multimedia PC standard. So this is actually a pretty good program. It gets better and better. The faster it is, the better. Of course, nothing's ever fast enough. But now that they've come in the real world and it's available at least at 28.8, I don't think they still have a, like for example, a TCP/IP connection or anything like that. You still do have to have a modem. That might be a drawback for some people, but for most people that just have modems, this is great. And here, for example, this is the hot list. You can go in there and do weather map, headlines, U.S. stock update, sports news, shopping. You can order Easy Saber, which is airline tickets and things like that. So you can also add to this list if you want to. We'll just close that, and let's just file exit. While I'm file exiting out of Prodigy here, let's just go exit. I'm going to do two things at once here. I'm going to start up and see if we can get into America Online. Let's just sign off. You got to remember, I have like every online service there is, because I'm a nerd, you know. And I got to remember all these different ways to get out of all these different things. Some of them you have to exit twice. Some of them you have to disconnect. Some of you exit and disconnect. Some of you have disconnect and exit. I can never remember which one's which. Now this is, as soon as this completely logs out here, we'll go into America Online. Let's see how many online services we can actually go on in one show, all right? And let's do this. And it should come up. And while this is loading, in just 1 second here, I'll show you I didn't finish talking about a couple things I was talking about before, and I'll show one of my tip of the week or whatever. Every week I try to give something that's new or something somebody doesn't know about. All right, again, I didn't quite finish this. This actually is a great magazine, this Access Visual Basic Advisor. And like I said, this has all kinds of tips and tricks about Visual Basic or Access and different utilities that you can use with it and everything else. But if you want to learn more about Access, and I try to bring, this is also like the videotape of the week. I showed these one time before. This is the same company, but this is just another set of tapes. This is the Access 95 tapes. This is from Keystone Learning Systems Corporation, and I have a slide that comes up, and it's on my webpage also, and there's a phone, I don't think it's an 800 line, just a regular phone number, but it has, like for example, this one has beginners, intermediate, and advanced. This happens to be the advanced tape, and it has everything from linking to external data, database window tricks, table tips and tricks, query tricks, form tricks, report tricks, macros. It goes into macros. These are real interesting tapes, and you see these in most magazines like PC Magazine in the back, but it's made by Keystone, and these are like $89 a piece or something like that. And it depends how many you buy. They're cheaper the more you buy, or you can buy them in sets. Like you can buy Office Professional 95, all the tapes together, or you can buy them individual if you want. But they're real interesting, and they're, you know, straight to the point, and you can skip around, and they're all marked on the corner, so you can always see on the screen exactly where you are, so you can fast forward to a specific topic if you want to see or check something out. All right? Okay, we're up on America Online here. Of course, it says I have mail. Now, this is the new version, 3.0. 3.0 is, they've changed a lot. They've changed, you can go faster now. It has, you know, faster modem speeds. It has almost a completely different interface, but they tried to make it as simple as possible. We showed this about 4 or 5 weeks ago, but a lot of people said I went way too fast, because I was just kind of just showing because it was new, and I didn't even play around with it too much. So I thought I would go over a few things that I didn't show, and also review some of the things that I did show, so that people can figure out what's going on. It's got a little bit different look now. They've changed some of the graphics, and they've made it a little easier. Like, for example, you can see this whole page right here. They now call them channels, where there's all the different channels that come up, like computers and software, digital city, entertainment, games, health and fitness, music space, marketplace where you can buy things, lifestyles and interests, learning and culture, kids only, the internet connection where you can actually go to the internet, international, the hub, newsstand, today's news, people connection, personal finance, so you can go in there and you can connect to banks and things like that, reference desk for encyclopedias and look things up, sports, style channel, and travel. They've made all these icons now, which is a lot better than it used to be, with little help bubbles, so you can remember what these are. It used to be, and some of the, actually not only this, but a lot of the different programs, if you didn't know what they were, you hardly ever use the icons. You'd never figure out what they were, because a lot of them didn't make any sense. So now they've made them a lot easier and a lot big, oh, not a lot bigger, but bigger, so you could figure out what they were. Like, of course, the little pencil, I don't know if you can see, that's a pencil on a piece of paper, is composed mail. Go to channels, a little channel, remote control, what's hot, people connection, file search, stocks and portfolios, news, today's news, World Wide Web, you know, the internet, shopping, or marketplaces they call it, customize your own America Online, so you can fit it to your needs, so you can, you know, so every time you want it to come up at a certain place and certain this or whatever, you can set it up. Online clock, find out how long we've been online. It says we've been online for 4 minutes. Great. Printer, you can print the current file. Personal filing cabinet, save your emails and downloads. Now this is pretty cool too, because in the old version, if you read an email, for example, and you wanted to look at it again, you had to save it on your hard drive or print it out. You can now save it. It's a lot easier to save things, because if you just saved as new, the next time you came up, it would say you have mail. It'd be the same message over and over and over and over every single time. And if you didn't want to save it somewhere, it was real hard to figure out what was going on. This way you can actually save it in your own little filing cabinet. Favorite places, member services, or all kinds of help. You can find members, places, files, and then keywords. You can put in a specific keyword like computers, or whatever you want to do, football, or anything you want, flowers, and it'll go to, if there's a place for flowers or whatever, there might be different sites. All right? For example, if we go into, let's go to personal finance, for example. Again, we're connected at 28.8, so this is pretty normal, what most people would have at their house if they had a 28.8 modem. And they've tried to speed up the graphics. The way that they do it, I think that they used to always when you went into something, it would go across the screen and say downloading, downloading, downloading. It tries to download the information and put it on your drive, so the next time you come in, unless it's been updated, it's a lot faster. You can see, I don't know if anyone that uses America Online all the time on the old version, it probably would have taken 2 or 3 times longer than it did to load that graphics. They did something, compression, I don't know what it is, but it's a lot faster than it used to be. So the biggest thing that they've done is speed things up, new interface, and a lot easier to, well, the interface is exactly the same thing, but a lot easier to use as far as the icons and the screens and everything else. But that's like probably the best thing they could have possibly done, but the biggest thing was speed things up. One of the biggest complaints was it was too slow. Okay, let's get out of this, and let's exit out of here. Again, it'll have a completely different interface as the other one did. See, it's got sign off or exit. Let me think, what do I want to do here, you know? Every time, every single program is just a little bit different. It says I'm going to download something. I don't think I want to download this, but it'll do it real fast here. They're constantly upgrading with the new code, and when you try to get out of it, which is nice, but not nice, because when it's finished, it tries to log you right back in. So I'm going to try to get out of here. So it's restarting it automatic because it thinks I want to come back in after I downloaded that software, but I really don't. So it's going to try to reconnect here, but I'm just going to exit. All right, tips. This is, I have 8 billion tips, but this is just one little thing here that I do. Let's get out of here. File, exit before I do this. And we'll see on the screen here, right in the middle of my screen, I have a thing called Instant Screensaver. And what I've tried to do, and I don't know if I can do 2 things at once, but I'll just double click on that, and it goes directly into my screensaver, which happens to just have A, so you can make it say whatever you want on the scrolling marquee. But this is pretty cool in case you, you know, your boss is walking in and you want to cover up your screen real fast. You just double click on that real fast and it brings it up, as long as you don't move your mouse. And as soon as he leaves your office, you just move that like that. I didn't really say that, but that's really what, you know, I don't use it like that. But this is an instant screensaver. You can see what I've done is I just went into the desktop and went to New, and I made up a new shortcut, and all I did was browse, and I found the just any screensaver. They happen to be in Windows. Mine happened to be in Windows and System. And what we can do is I'm just going to do a quick search where it says *.scr for screensavers. That way it'll look just for those. And they'll come up here. And we'll just pick, I don't know, Flying Windows, for example. Hit OK. It automatically puts in there, you can't read that, but it says command line is C:\Windows\System\Flying Windows.scr. You can put in whatever, any screensaver you want. You go to Next. And you can name it whatever you want. We'll just call it FW Screensaver. That's Flying Windows, by the way. Screensaver. And we'll just hit Finish. And it'll make a little icon on the screen. So this is like, in case you want to just, you're leaving your office real fast. And you can have this connected to a, with a password, just like you can in the other screensaver. And so if you're leaving your office real fast, you don't want to see what you're working on, you just double click this real fast, leave, and when you come back, you know, in order to make it come back, without having to wait for the screensaver to come up, say after 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 10 minutes, you can make it come up instantly. And the other thing, you can actually do this on your startup. You can put this icon in your startup, so when you start up Windows, it automatically goes directly to your screensaver. So if you start up your computer and you leave, you can make it come up automatically. Now, I don't know how useful that would be, but it was just a suggestion. But you can go in there, I can start up either one of these. You can make a whole bunch of them if you want. If you want to, say, have a screensaver that says lunch, you could double click on this and go to your marquee, and as soon as you double click on it, it says gone to lunch, or whatever. You could have it, you know, name different screensavers different ways. All right? That's my tip of the week right there. Let me go in here. Let's do, let's see if we can connect. We don't have much time left, and I've got about 5 hours of things to talk about. Let's see how fast we can connect to the internet here. Let's see how fast this works. I just noticed that it didn't put my password. I'm probably going to have to type in my password. But this is actually a pretty good page. I don't have the... Oh, I thought it was busy there. I don't have the address written down, but I'll put this on my website. this web page of favorite tips and tricks. This guy, his name's Ed. It's called Ed's Favorite Tips and Tricks. And it's www.supernet.net. And then it's got a big long address. So I'll put this on my web page. And every week it seems like he's got some new tip or trick. I print it out every so often and check out, you know, how to make your Logitech mouse third button work with Windows 95, how to set up multiple printers, file associations, printing the files. See if this is going to come up here. So far, we'll see. Oh my God! It only says we have 1 minute, so I need to talk faster. I mean, we're probably not going to be able to get on the internet and show some of these sites. But let's just do this. Let's just cancel this, and let's go back to PowerPoint real fast. Let's cancel out of this, and we'll go to PowerPoint, and let's see if I missed anything. I don't think I did. The only thing I do want to make sure that people understand. Let's bring up the email addresses and also the. Let's just cancel this. Oh my God, I'm under the gun here. 30 seconds. We'll go back to WOW, and we'll bring up just the page that has the internet addresses and the email addresses. So if you have any questions about any of these things, or you want to find anything else out, let's just double-click on this right here. I don't know how it probably won't come up huge, but that's all right. And we'll do this, and that way you can read it. Can you read that real fast? I don't know if you can read it. Or you can read it real slow if you want. But the hotline phone number is 587-6949. Email address is sareeves@aol.com. And those all the addresses of all the hosts are on the Phoenix, the official web page. So if you want to leave a message to James or Carlos or anybody else related to, or relating to the show, just leave a message on that. You can and leave us an email. Let us know what's going on. I want to wrap everything up. I want to thank everybody for watching. My name's Steve Reeves. This has been the American Computer Enthusiast Show, and we'll see you next week.